So first off, Happy New Year to everyone who watches my channel. I hope you had a safe and happy holiday season. And if you saw my recent video about how 2025 kind of sucked, then you might be a little bummed or maybe optimistic for a better 2026. And 2026 is going to be very interesting because despite what the overall economy does, I think the ball is really in your court. And I believe 2026 is going to put the personal in personal finance. And how this year turns out will very much depend on the decisions that you make right now. What's up, everybody? I'm Zap Brath, musician and actor turned content creator, and I'm here to help you design a practical and personal money blueprint that provides a sustainable framework for achieving your financial goals. And in this video, we're going to take a look at 6 major financial categories, and I'm going to grade how these different parts of the economy actually performed in 2025, and then look at whether or not those grades are expected to improve in 2026 so that you can put yourself in the best situation to have a great year. But before we jump into it, please do me a huge favor, hit that like button because that lets the almighty algorithm know that this is a cool video and more people should see it. So we're just going to jump right into this. The 6 major categories are stocks, real estate, small business, e-commerce and creator economy, crypto, and employment income. And I'm going to grade these 6 categories from 2025 data and, more importantly, explain what actually matters in 2026 if you want to have a better year and use the economic situation to your advantage. So, stocks. The 2025 grade is a B. Stocks didn't collapse, but gains were pretty narrow, and a small group of large companies carried the market while most stocks lagged. Inflation cooled a little bit, but higher rates limited how fast prices could actually grow. Real estate, I give it a B-. High interest rates made things very unaffordable, and it slowed sales. Prices didn't fall much, but activity stalled and many buyers were just locked out of the real estate game completely. Small businesses, I give it a C+. There was actually a small uptick in business closures, and businesses that solved real problems, those are the ones that survived. And things like compliance, operations, tech, large corporations are still outsourcing those things to small businesses, so there's opportunity there. But AI is eliminating generalists, but it is also amplifying skilled operators. And hype-driven ventures struggled in 2025 as customers became more selective with their money. E-commerce and creator economy, I give it a B-. Growth slowed, ads were expensive, audiences were fatigued, and only the creators who had a lot of trust or a strong community actually did well. Crypto, I give it a C. Volatility and drawdowns really hurt the confidence of a lot of investors. Any speculative projects failed, and emotional investors left. And lastly, employment and income, C+, right? There are jobs, but security is really fragile. Wages didn't keep up with the cost of living, and many people felt like they were one setback away from being in some serious trouble. Okay, so before we jump into 2026, if you made it this far into the video, I feel like you're probably enjoying my content. So hit that subscribe button that helps my channel grow, and then make sure that you don't miss my next financial insight. Okay, so jumping into 2026 grades, with stocks, we're going to go from a B to a B+. Why? The Fed is likely expected to pause or cut interest rates. Inflation is down despite how things feel. Corporate earnings have stabilized, and although retail investors are shaken, institutional investors still have large cash reserves. Real estate, I think it's going to be flat, still a B-. Supply is still tight, which puts a floor under prices, and if rates drop a little, activity can improve, but this would just stabilize the market, not really create some kind of big rally in real estate. Small business, okay, I think we're going to go from a C+ to a B-, so again, slightly better. Specialists and systemized operators have an edge. It's harder to start, but it's easier to stand out if you're useful and consistent. And I think niching down will bring income up. And that's big because I plan on doing that in my business as well. And I think by niching down, I'm going to see better gains from my business. E-commerce and creator economy. Again, slightly better. I think we're going to go from a B- to a B. And people with strong, trustworthy brands are going to benefit as weaker players drop off. The niching concept, I think, applies here as well. Smaller but loyal audiences are going to be more valuable than this huge, massive reach. All right, crypto. And I think this is going to be the biggest jump, going from a C to a B-. So if you look at it this way, 2025 was a stress test for a lot of platforms, and they actually survived. Institutional investment is still a big thing. Regulations, especially in the US, are clearing up. So 2025 was kind of blah, but the future still looks bright for crypto, just not this big, explosive, huge to the moon rally kind of thing. The long-term exposure actually makes sense, but only if you have discipline and realistic expectations. And speaking of crypto, if you'd like to make some extra money right now, you might want to try Gemini and Kraken. They're beginner friendly. They have some of the highest sign-up bonuses that I've seen. And if you use my referral link in the description of this video, deposit at least $100 on each platform and trade it for crypto, excluding stablecoins, you'll get $65 in bonuses. So make sure you check that out.
I got you, homie.
And last, employment and income. I think it's going to just still be a C+. Things aren't getting worse, but they're not improving fast either. Wage growth is still expected to be slow compared to the cost of living, and job stability is still going to feel shaky with targeted layoffs and AI dominance emerging. So yeah, I hate to break it to you, but 2026, I think is going to look a lot like 2025.
Boring.
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what I believe according to the data. And that's a crucial piece of information because just because 2026 is projected to look like that overall, it doesn't mean that your 2026 has to look like that. And it doesn't mean that your personal economy has to look like that. I'm actually expecting my personal 2026 to be so explosive that I can realistically double my income this year. Not because some miracle is going to happen for me that it won't happen for everybody else. No. I just looked at the information about what's likely to happen, and I made a game plan that puts me in the best possible situation to be successful. That's the power of a personal economy and a money blueprint that takes advantage of the situation instead of complaining about things and sitting back and hoping that the economy fixes itself. And based on the information I presented to you in this video, there are 8 key themes for 2026 that I believe if you center your money blueprint around those themes, you will do so much better than everyone else around you who's experiencing 2025 Part 2. So hit that share button on this video, share this with at least 2 people who need to hear this information, and then make sure you watch my next video about the 8 themes that will create massive income in 2026. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.